Hey friends, it's Third Channel Gaming. I'm Dan,
I'm Kyle.
and we are going to be talking about the Game Awards 2022. Um, so a lot happened. I had
Yes.
like 8 pages of notes.
Condense it to one, Dan. You can do
Yeah, I condensed it to one. We're going over the highlights. We're not going to go over every single award, every single trailer, because there was a lot.
Yes, there was a
Um,
lot.
we're pretty much going to hit highlights and things that interest us because we're selfish like that.
Yes.
So first things first, we're gonna get it out of the way. The stage crasher kid, don't know his
Oh,
name, don't care.
don't care. I'm not going to give him his actual name because it's just terrible.
Yeah,
Don't do that, people. Just don't.
yeah, don't get on stage. Like people are like, oh, it's no big deal. No one got hurt. Nothing happened. Um, it happened on the 18th anniversary of Dimebag Daryl from Pantera being shot and killed on stage because a fan got on stage when he wasn't supposed to. So like, it is a big deal for people to just do this. Game Awards security needs to step it up and not allow this to happen.
Yeah.
So like that's pretty much all I want to say on it.
And I'm reflecting the same sentiments. It's
Yeah.
just ridiculous.
Yeah. Had no business being there. But let's talk about the cool thing that happened before that. Flute guy.
Oh my God. That that orchestra playing and they did such a fantastic job. Like every person in that orchestra did a fantastic job. It sounded amazing. The way they did it from game to game,
Yeah, they meshed everything super well.
perfectly. And, like it really did flow very well. They arranged the different musics for each of those games so that it could flow well without sounding jarring.
Yeah. Yeah. And like flute guy just being so into it and playing like
Uh,
I think I counted like 4 different instruments throughout the performance.
yeah,
And
and
he
I
was
love that they kept
into it.
going back to him too.
Oh,
And
you know that producer was like, get me just one angle strictly on that guy.
yeah, this guy is gold right now. But it's one of those things where I understand that classical sentiment of people who say like, oh, you're supposed to be super professional. There's no like, don't show any music or emotions. Just play the music professionally. Like all look sync. But to me, like when I see people who are playing music and feel the music and are getting into it, I mean, the flute guy, perfect example, but they didn't even pan. If you watch like the drummers in the
Oh
back
yeah,
and the
I
two
saw that
guitars,
too.
they're like rocking out too. And like I understand with a lot of the other strings, like violin and the cello, like it's very everybody playing at the same time. It's very orchestrated. It looks beautiful when they're all in sync together.
Mhm.
But for like the people who aren't needing to be all on the same page, I like the individuality of each of the performers just add to it so much.
Yeah, and he was just so into it. And like I didn't even see him switching instruments, but every time like it cut to him, it's like, oh, he's playing a
Oh,
piccolo. Oh, he's playing a bass flute. Oh, he's playing this. It's like, wait, where is he keeping these?
he's just pulling them out of nowhere, just
Yeah,
discarding them afterward, just
yeah,
flop
just
flop.
tossing him over his shoulder. I'm done with this one. Bring me my next woodwind.
But yeah,
Yeah.
there was that musical performance, and I know I don't remember where you've got it in notes, but we might as well, since we're
Oh yeah.
talking about the music, go
The
straight into it.
the blood upon the snow performance was
Amazing,
absolutely amazing.
amazing.
With again, like just like Flute Guy, Bear McCreary on the hurdy-gurdy,
Oh my God.
like rocking out like he's doing an epic guitar solo
I
was awesome.
ever since um the Amazon show, the Carnival,
Yeah.
I think that's whatever the
Carnival
name.
Row.
Yes, Carnival Row. The music behind that actually is with the hurdy-gurdy, and the the woman who plays the hurdy-gurdy has a huge album, and I started following her. I'm like, damn it, I'm cursing myself for not for not quickly putting her name up for myself. But
We'll put it
uh,
on the
yeah,
we'll give her a
um,
shout out.
like it opened my eyes to a whole bunch of other hurdy-gurdy music, and it's just a fantastical instrument, and it's just so unique in how it sounds with the clacking and the nonstop kind of stringed sound to it.
Yeah.
I love the sound of a hurdy-gurdy,
Yeah,
and
it's got a
the people who
beautiful
play it
haunting
well.
sound.
Yes, exactly. And the
Yeah,
people who play it well really do fantastic music with it.
yeah, it was just so funny, like seeing Bear McCreary. He's got the long hair, he's got the beard, and he's got like the hurdy-gurdy slung low, and he's just cranking it, just going for it. Next to like the singer who I again will throw names up.
It's a Hosier. I forget how he pronounce like how to pronounce his name. He has a beautiful voice too. I love some of his music.
Yeah.
He sings the "Take Me to Take Me to Church." I forget. I'm bad at song names along with people and things. But he did that whole performance was amazing.
Yeah. Like, and the set and everything on that was
Yes.
great. Um, but so moving on from music, we're gonna talk about some trailers that were really good.
Yeah.
Um, one that was on the pre-show, and I wanted to talk about this briefly just because I loved the original game. It was on the PS4, Valiant Hearts Coming Home. It's about on the PS4 it was Valiant Hearts The Great War, which is all about World War One. And it's just like this beautifully like cartoon style game with an amazing heart-wrenching story told through puzzles. And like I feel like it didn't get enough recognition, and the fact that there's a mobile version coming out soon is kind of exciting. I probably won't get it. I don't play a lot of mobile games outside of like a couple here and there that just pass the time when I'm doing like nothing.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see if it's just a port or if it like how much of a new story or new characters they add to it. I never played the game, but just the trailer made me kind of like, oh, this seems like a really cool game, especially for mobile. I know I don't normally play a lot of mobile games,
Mhm.
but it is one of those things where if I'm on vacation and just sitting around not doing anything and I don't have any book that I'm particularly reading at the moment, like honestly, I replayed Final Fantasy 3 on mobile when they had the game out. And yeah, I just hooked myself up to a charger and just sat there, and it really wasn't too bad. So I'll be looking for probably getting this game when it is released for mobile,
Yeah,
because
just
it
to
does
see
seem
how.
like it would fit the mobile platform well.
Yeah, because they're essentially it's just like a lot of physics puzzles. Like you have to put something here, put something there. You have to ricochet something off of something to hit a switch. And like but like the music and the story and the art direction of it was so good. Like I was surprised because it was like a PlayStation Plus free game. I was just like, oh, I got nothing to play, nothing's really, you know, tickling my fancy. So I went and started playing it, and like I was like, this is actually a really beautiful game.
Yeah, yeah, I'll look forward to it.
Yeah,
It sounds like a cool game to play at like 5-10 minutes here or there.
yeah, exactly. Um, Another thing that showed up on the pre-show, Among Us is adding hide and seek. I know the shine on Among Us has kind of fallen off. Like it's obviously still popular, but not as popular as it was during the pandemic era.
All right.
Like, and people had been doing like a hide and seek variant for years, even before this was like before the new maps got added.
Yeah.
Like people were doing a hide and seek, but like the fact that the developers were like, oh, people are doing this, let's make it an actual feature in the game so you don't have to mess with the options and everything. Let's make it
Yeah.
an actual feature, we'll make it happen. And I think that's great about with like the development team.
Yeah. Anytime that a pre-existing game has the player base making its own version of the game,
Mhm.
that's kind of like adding to it, and then the dev team recognizes that, and that's like, oh, that's a good, okay, let's try and implement that feature into our game. so that a wider base can easily play it without having to do so much setup.
Yeah, I should say as long as it's free, like a
Yep.
free DLC, then it's cool. Otherwise, it's like, oh, now you're taking from the fans that have already
Right.
been doing it. But it's fun. It'll be fun. We'll try and get like maybe a hide and seek game going sometime in the future, since the game itself is free on mobile.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, Anything you wanted to go to next?
Not from the pre-show.
Okay, and like the pre-show was fine. The host did a fantastic job. She just had some bad writing with some of like the quintessential gamer jokes, like we
Yeah.
don't go outside, we're antisocial. Like it was just bad and cringy, and she did a fantastic job, and her dress looked super uncomfortable. Like it was a piece of shag carpeting, and they're like, here, put this on. It looked
Yeah.
itchy.
Yeah.
um but then we got the main show. Let's see.
Lot of really cool games looking up. I will say, um, I have started to really, and this is probably in the last few years, tempered any trailer that is shown that doesn't show gameplay footage.
Yeah,
Because while a cinematic trailer can look amazing for a lot of games and generate a lot of interest, and there's definitely games that I'm interested in because of the cinematic trailers. I'm just not as like, oh, I definitely need to get this when it comes out
yeah,
if it doesn't have gameplay footage, because I really want to see what the game actually is going to look like and not just like a cutscene or the like cinematic opening.
yeah, because there have been games like that where it's like, oh, this trailer looks amazing, and then you play the game and it plays like hot garbage.
Yeah. And it's like none of what was shown is in this game.
Yeah, this is like, and a lot of times you'll see like pre-alpha footage, or you know gameplay you know not as portrayed here, which like, good on you. You got to put out a trailer. You got to get people talking about it. But everything, for the most part, everything that's going to be coming out in the next year or so seem to have gameplay in it.
Yes. Yes.
Excuse me.
Or at least like a little glimpse of the gameplay.
Yeah, it wasn't just look at this shiny trailer that we made.
Yeah.
It
Nice 4K
interspliced a lot
trailer.
of it interspliced a lot of actual gameplay footage. Um, like the ones that uh I really like Banish Ghosts of New Eden. The story
Yeah.
seems really cool, and
Yeah.
the game looks gorgeous. So I'm going to
Yeah.
be
That
interested to see how that goes.
it'll be really cool to see where they go in that story.
Yeah,
Just
because
because the
that
trailer made
trailer.
it seem look like this was going to be um, a great game to really sink a lot of time into, um, and try and if available, if it's not all kind of fit into the like the main story, um, all the like the side mission stories that
Yeah,
it could go through.
yeah, because the trailer had a bit of a sixth sense twist at the end. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, that's awesome. I want to see where the story goes, like between
yeah,
these characters,
yeah.
and see how like he got to this, how he got this way. And then it also showed some like interesting gameplay
Right at the
footage.
end. Yeah, I was like, "Ooh, okay, here we go. I'm a big fan of the like the third person over the shoulder action
Yeah,
games.
yeah, like very reminiscent of like The Witcher,
Hmm.
things along those lines.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. Um, okay, and then from there, and then I know you wanted to talk about it, Hades 2.
Yes, Hades was a fantastic game, and I understand a lot of people who don't like roguelites. I'm I'm not a big fan of roguelites in general.
Mhm.
I've played multiple other, or I've tried to play other roguelites, and
I get
I
it
get
adds
interested.
to the replay value because it's different every time.
Yes,
Uh,
but I mean, it only holds my interest for so long, and then I'm
yeah.
like, all right, well, like I'm not making progression. There's no drive to try and make progression.
Mhm.
But Hades, like, and maybe there are games that out there that are roguelites that have just as good a story as Hades, but I was kind of the first roguelike that I was like, oh man, like I really need to figure out ways to be better to play this game so I can finish the stories, because every time, it's not spoilery, but every time you beat the game, you get the next part of the story, and then you have to restart over and and beat it again to progress the story.
Nice.
So like it really rewarded you for basically beating the game, and then giving you a whole bunch of things to keep making the game more and more interesting.
Yeah.
And the voice acting is phenomenal. The art style of it is just great. I loved it. The story, the music was phenomenal. Like as soon as that trailer started with the music from Hades, I was like, I'm in. Like it instantly takes me back to actually playing the game. And the fun bit of it that I see a lot of talk of in Hades, you're trying to break out of hell, and in Hades 2, you're trying to break into hell.
Oh,
So it's
nice.
just cool, like anti synergistic type.
Yeah. A new,
Um,
a different angle from the
yeah,
story.
and yeah, I'm super excited. I can't wait. It'll definitely be a day of release. I'll be playing
Day
it.
one play.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually forgot to talk about it. Al Pacino showed up
Oh
at the Game
right, yeah.
Awards. Like, I just remember, like, like the show started, they're getting ready to do like the first award, and then he like announces, and here's like Emmy, Tony, and Oscar winner Al Pacino. I'm like, what?
It was a bit strange.
Yes.
Yes.
Like,
um,
what? How did you get Al Pacino to come be like, hey, give an award for a video game?
yeah, and I mean, he even like whether it was written on the teleprompter, which
He
he
had
even
a
said
hard time
a
seeing.
hard side scene. And I mean, I've never worked in that profession, so I've never
Yeah.
really worked off of a teleprompter. But it does seem one just hard to do in general. But throw in likely bad eyesight and
Yeah.
being a good distance away, um,
Yeah.
it just makes for
Being
a disaster.
older and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's just like, oh, like he did a fantastic job. Like, and you can tell how good of an actor and how good he is at like reading a script, because like
Yes.
despite the fact that he struggled to read it, he came off very natural and
Yeah.
very genuine.
And
And
even put in a few of like just the personal touch of like, I may not be playing games, but my like great game, or not great grandkids do, and he watches that, and it seems, and he's enthralled by the way that video games tell a story. And
yeah.
I think he touched upon the biggest part of why there are so many people that love playing video games. It's just a way to tell an engaging story.
Oh, without a doubt. And and people will notice it from like the games that we choose to cover. Like, yeah, we did a couple like the mobile games and those games, but a lot of the things that we like that I know I go for are games with great story.
Same.
And like it's like I'm not a big Elden Ring fan. I know that might catch me some heat, but like that style of game like just does not interest me. I'm glad people enjoy it. I'm glad
Mhm.
people have fun with it. And I'm glad it won, the awards that it did, because it was well deserved. But like that doesn't like it was on there for best narrative, but everything that I saw from people is like, oh, you have to search out the narrative. I'm like, that's not a narrative, that's lore.
Yeah.
Which it can have great lore, that's awesome. But a narrative is the story being told,
Yeah.
not the story you're
That's
seeking out.
exactly.
So but yeah, we tend to go for games that like are story based and fun.
Yes.
um
It's hard to find games that kind of hit those two things, because there's definitely a lot of great story games out there, but they can be very bland. And then
yeah.
there's plenty of very fun and visually pleasing games, but just don't have story. And after 3-4 hours, I don't ever want to go back to it.
Yeah, you're just kind of done. But yeah, Al Pacino gave the award to Christopher Judge, who I'm actually a big fan of. I actually recently just rewatched Stargate SG-1.
Yeah, I mean he's a great actor.
Oh yeah,
He's a
and
phenomenal actor, and his voice really carries a lot of the games that he's done work on.
yeah, because he's got that bass in his voice, and it's
Yeah,
really good, and he's a really good actor. However, he just went on and on and on, and well deserved. You won probably the second biggest award of the night
yes.
with best performance. But it
And
was just like he just kept going.
for a lot of voice actors, like there's not really other recognitions.
Yeah,
I mean,
like there's others, like this is being portrayed as the biggest, like this is like the
yes,
Oscars for video games, like where there's other awards out there. There's the Golden Joystick, stuff like that.
yeah,
But this is
but
the one that had the most reach.
yes, and especially now it feels like the video game awards are finally getting a lot more recognition.
Mhm.
For what and just video games in general. I think the pandemic kind of really highlighted that there's a
Games are
lot of
good.
people who play video games, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of really good games out there. So let's like really, really highlight the people behind the games.
yeah, the
Um,
performers and the dev teams and
and
everything
yes,
that make these games great. uh, so moving on from that tangent of Christopher Judge, just talk. I think it was like 10 minutes.
it was a long speech.
Yeah.
I only watched like 3 or 4 minutes of it, and then like I got bored. So the joys of being able to watch from home.
Yeah.
I just pulled up my phone and looked at other things while the speech was going on.
Yeah. But the next trailer that really caught our eye, Judas, from the creators
Judas,
of BioShock. And you
yeah,
can tell it's from the creators of
very
BioShock.
easily tell. Just and once again, just from like the actual gameplay footage, like
Yeah.
you immediately see that footage and like, oh, is this a BioShock game? Are we about to witness a BioShock game? Like,
Yeah,
is
because
this BioShock 5,
it's been a
4, 5?
while. Like
Yeah.
Infinite came out on the PS3.
Yes.
So it's been a while since there's been a BioShock game. And it's
And
probably because the creators left and made their own studio.
yes. And it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I am super excited to play. If any if if history tells us anything from that dev team, they're gonna put in a really great story behind that game.
Oh yeah.
And there's gonna be a lot of really fun ways to play that game and still have the story being told the way they want it to be told.
Yeah. Because like I'm not a big FPS fan, but I played BioShock 1 and 2, and I didn't start Infinite yet because I played 1 and 2 back to back, and I was like, I was a little
A little
BioShock
break,
out.
a little break. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a lot to take in if you play it back to back and
yeah,
then to back with Infinite. But I mean, it like between 1 and 2 and then Infinite, just the story. Once again, the story behind everything. It's just so compelling. So drives you to try and finish the game,
yeah,
while giving you a bunch of different options on how to do that, especially with the first person shooter.
yeah, definitely. All right, the next trailer, Nightingale,
Yeah,
which looks very interesting.
it it's going to be one of those games where I don't I don't know how good the story is going to be.
Mm.
So it might be a game where because it once again it looks graphically appealing. The idea of it sounds intriguing,
From
especially
the
with
description, it like it just kind of came to me. The description makes it sound like it's like an adult Minecraft.
possibly, and
Yeah,
I mean that could be it. It could very well be it.
yeah,
The
PVE crafting game.
yes, that shot of it at the end with the 4 different what looked like player characters going up against the big giant beast. It definitely felt like It could be a little cross between a Monster Hunter, Minecraft style game.
Yeah.
And yeah, especially if it's PvE with, four friends, up to four friends, or, maybe up to 8 friends. Could
Yeah.
be, don't know very much about it, but it could be one of those games where, a night with a bunch of friends playing that game could be a lot of fun, because I really love Monster Hunter games, just for that fact of going on and with some friends and fighting a big giant monster to get gear.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. Like it's not something I'm gonna go out and buy right away. It'll be something I'll wait to see what it actually
Same,
is
same,
more of.
same. Especially if it is a PvE with a couple of us getting together to play the game. But
Oh, definitely.
probably about a month or two after release is when
Yeah.
I would be interested in picking it up.
Like see actual more like gameplay footage and things like
Yes.
that. I know you're a big Star Wars fan. Jedi Survivor looked really good.
Looks really good. Looks like they're picking up right where they left off.
Mm.
And I'll be excited for it. Hopefully they, the Fallen Order was could be difficult at times, kind of forced difficulty, but it wasn't super bad. Maybe a couple of times or a couple of fights took a couple of different attempts to get used to like the kind of mechanics of that boss or whoever you're fighting. So if they kind of continue that, it could still be a really good game. If they decide just for whatever reason they want to ramp it up and make it even harder just to kind of prolong the gameplay of it, then I would put more negative reviews on it. So I interested to see where they go.
Yeah. Like it looked gorgeous and it looked like the gameplay looked fun. But yeah, again, it'll be a wait and see on that. We saw like the only trailer that I don't think had any gameplay footage, but they definitely wanted to get out. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League with its tribute to Kevin Conroy. Like I feel
Yes.
like they definitely pushed it out since it was so recently that we lost Kevin Conroy.
I agree.
And
but it could
it's
be
an
a great
Arkham
game.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be an Arkham game, and those games have like even like the worst Arkham game is a good game.
Yes.
So.
Hopefully they don't include bad tank sequences.
Yeah, that's
not including parts of the Arkham game that made the Arkham games fun.
Yeah, like the tank sequences weren't bad, they just happened too many times.
Yes.
And it was the exact same battle every time. But overall, like the Arkham games have always been good. I started Gotham Knights not too long ago. It's not bad. I need to get more into it to see where the story goes. It's not an Arkham game, but it's an Arkham game because it doesn't go with the Arkham story.
Yeah.
So it's like, why didn't you just make it an Arkham game? But not my decision. The next trailer that like intrigued me just because of the cast, Crime Boss Rock-A City.
Yeah.
Like the cast was ridiculous.
Yes,
and that's just what they showed.
Yeah, exactly. They just showed a great cast. And I mean,
like I have the cast written down, so give me 1 second. Where it's going to be on the last page, I check.
Of course it will be.
Yep. The very last page. Like in this cast, just what they showed, you have Michael Rooker, Danny Glover, Michael Madsen, Danny Trejo, Damian Portier, Kim Basinger, Vanilla Ice, and Chuck Norris. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what this game is going to be. It kind of looked like first person GTA.
Kind of.
Like it felt like a lawsuit is coming over Vice City. Like, which if you remember, Vice City had an amazing cast in it too.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's going to be interesting to see. Like, not a big FPS fan, but this game looks so bonkers that I might have to play
Yeah, I might pick it up maybe a month after it's released, but if
Yeah.
as long as there's no like game crashing giant bugs like overhyped AAA game a couple of years ago that came out
Yeah.
was I think it has the potential to be a really solid fun game to pick up and play.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to
Even
see.
if it's just like an 8 or 10 hour game,
Yeah. Or if it's something big like a Grand Theft Auto.
which would be fantastic if it was that big.
Yeah. Another other big news, Stray getting some nominations and wins.
Yes.
Like for an indie game to
Great to
get
see.
to get that many nominations for like game of the year, best game. It won the indie,
It won the indie category.
yeah, the indie
Um,
categories.
So
But like,
yeah, I've been just great to see that happen. You know, kind of knew that they weren't really going to win the bigger categories up against,
oh yeah,
AAA games.
when God of War and Elden Ring both came out,
Yeah,
it's like, okay, you're going to be nominated, but you're not winning.
but at the same time, like it really is a cool thing to see them recognize that this cool indie game it like is up there.
Yeah, like it deserved all the nominations that it got and
Yes.
all the awards that it did win. And then last thing really on my list, because we're big fanboys, Yoshi P showed up at the Game Awards to give out the newest trailer for Final Fantasy 16 Revenge. And Yoshi P came out without a translator, spoke English
Yep.
fairly well.
Yeah.
Because if you're fans of 14 and have watched live letters, he doesn't speak a lot of English.
No.
So he
usually reserved to especially in front of that big of an audience, just a few phrases here or there of English.
Yeah, usually just a thank you, a hello, stuff like that. But he introduced the trailer himself. He didn't have Koji with him to translate, and he was dressed in his Yoshi P best with his rings and his boots and his long coat, like
out in his going out gear.
Yeah,
is what I like to call that.
Yeah. And 16 looks amazing.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
That is,
it'll be one of the few games that I'm actually pre-ordering.
Yeah, pre-ordering, possibly like pre-ordering a collector's edition. Like,
yeah,
I
mean,
am
even have you looked at kind of a tangent, but have you looked at the big statue that they're putting? I don't know how big it is, but the statue of Ifrit and Phoenix.
I have not, but I'm going to,
cool.
and I'm going
cool.
to consider it if it's not already sold out.
That's true.
Because like Endwalker, when that came out in that like physical edition, it sold out quick.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't the physical rewards edition because it only got released digitally. That sold out real quick. So I wouldn't, because I believe the 16 pre-orders are up now.
Yes.
So I'll probably actually be pre-ordering it today. But yeah, like the trailer looked good. The gameplay looks similar to Final Fantasy 15, which I wasn't a huge fan of, but once you got used to it, it was good. This seems a little more smooth and fluid. Hopefully. So it'll be interesting to see how it is.
Yeah, hopefully they learned from 15.
Mm-hmm.
And they do seem to learn after they implement a different mechanic of how to play the game. That subsequent games tend to be a little bit smoother with that mechanic. So I'm hoping that it's going to be a really easy game to pick up and play.
Definitely. Yeah, the trailer looked amazing. Gameplay looked fun. Story should be interesting because it's
It's,
a grittier story.
yes. I mean, the team that has handled 14 for so long,
Yeah,
um,
CBU
w-
3. Like,
that's
there's a reason 14 won Best Ongoing and Best Community Support, and it's because CBU 3 does an amazing job and takes care of its fans. So it'll be interesting to see, especially when they kill a chocobo in the trailer and splatter blood all over a little boy.
yep.
It's going
It's
to be
gonna
interesting to
it's
see
gonna
how
be a
this
great game.
goes. Yeah,
It's gonna be a very fun, very story driven, very visually appealing game.
yeah,
And yeah, it's ticking all the boxes that we love.
exactly. And Yoshi P's in charge.
And Yoshi P.
Yeah, like there's a reason fans call him a primal. Like we are, we are all tempered.
Yes.
um, but like that was our big takeaways from the Game Awards this year. Um, Overall, like everyone that won definitely deserved to win. Didn't see any
Hmm.
like big surprises.
Yeah, definitely no really solid surprises.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, I mean, we kind of knew that Elden Ring and
God
God
of
of War
War
we're gonna
walk
take a
away
lot
with
of
everything.
categories. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah, let us know what you thought of the Game Awards. If you enjoyed the long speech and the surprise Al Pacino, and what you didn't like. What games are you looking forward to? Let us know in the
yeah.
comments below. You know, for that, I'm Dan,
I'm Kyle.
and we're Third Channel Gaming. We'll see you next time.
Bye.